but actually, before I was a councillor in Lewisham, I was a councillor in Sheffield for 6 years. Actually, when I was much younger, I spent an awful lot of time in the court system in Croydon. I think that's not really necessarily nefarious. If you take those two places, Croydon and Sheffield, that gives you a good idea of the temptation you're being led into and the risks you're facing when it's all over. Because I'm sure that the development of Sheffield and the development of Croydon was done with all the best intentions to generate and to create wealth and to do something for disadvantaged people. But when it goes too far, what you see is a mess. What you see is Sheffield, where if you go there, there's good bits, you have the gallery, you have that sort of thing. But actually the total effect of Sheffield, when you get off the train and see, it's just an undifferentiated mass of office blocks, many of which are undistinguished. And that's what happens when you go too far. So if you're sick of being taught, if you're sick of Croydonization as a slogan, think about Sheffieldization as well. So you've got a choice of places to go. I have to say that I've had a journey in my few years as a councillor from being sort of moderately pro Lewisham Town Centre to being quite concerned about it. That's a journey which I think many of us have had. I remember being on a council committee, when I was first elected, going to meetings with Matthew at Lewisham Gateway development people and thinking they have good intentions. But there comes a point when you get really suspicious. I think my moment of truth there was when Matthew was pursuing the matter of getting replies from the developers about the H block, the H system, and just being told about getting more than they really weren't going to talk to you. I think that's basically what they said, wasn't it, Matthew? And at that point, you think you begin to worry about where it's going. And that was part of my journey from being moderately pro this sort of thing to being quite concerned about it. But having said all that, I'm not. I mean, they will call you NIMBYs. I'm not a NIMBY, but what I would say is not in my backyard isn't what I'm saying, but not quite so much in my backyard, is I think is the message. That what we're being given in Lewisham is just too much of what may be a good thing, and as you can see from my shape, too much of a good thing is bad for the end. We're not actually haggling over the principle of development, but in a sense we're haggling over the price. As Bernard Shaw might have said in a different context, we're haggling over the financial price and the human price that people live there. I'll try not to rehearse all the arguments which you've been through, which we went through in the committee. The issues why we're opposed to it, it's the sheer scale of development, and the pressure on the local infrastructure, and you quite rightly point out the trains. Having just come back from the centre of town tonight, I know exactly what it's all about, and I can't see where the room is for any extra expansion on that system. Pressure on the education infrastructure, pressure on health infrastructure. That's all a problem that this is causing. Issues around affordable housing. I mean, we in this room, I'm sure we all want there to be good affordable housing for people who are currently in very bad conditions. That's a good thing to have. But again, it's not really enough, I think, in this development. Air quality, quite right too. I mean, what I was struck by the report which went to the committee was they're simply saying, oh well, no, the air quality in this area of Lewisham is really, really bad. Maybe a little bad. So actually making it 1% worse really won't make much difference. Words about direction of travel come to mind here, but they don't seem to accept that. Those are all the reasons why we're against it. But I think it's important to think also, what do we want? And that's why I think we're here tonight. I think positively, it's easy to oppose something, more difficult sometimes to actually work out what we want, which is different, and what which will be better. What I would think about as a sort of a metaphor is the story of the Sultan, who had a wife who he loved dearly, and who, when she died, he built a tomb for her, and he wanted to build a monument, and he added over the years to the mausoleum, to build more, to create more, make structures, to build it higher and better. And as he watched the building works develop over the years, he added more to it, but there came a point when he was actually worried about it. It didn't seem to work out. It didn't look like the proportions. Something was making it wrong. And one moment he had a flash of inspiration, and he said, it's that tomb which is causing the problems. That tiny little thing in the middle is actually totally out of proportion to this massive structure that I've created. Take that tomb away. And I think that's sort of where we are, that's the risk we face with overdevelopment. That you forget the original cause of what you're doing it for, which is if you're human beings, what you want is something on a human scale. And the temptation is in doing that to get embroiled in elaboration and growth and giantism, so you actually miss that human portion. So if we're thinking about what we want as an alternative, I think that's the big underlying bottom line. It's something which is on a human scale, not on a superhuman or an inhuman scale. That's what we want. It's something which is green and sustainable in all senses of the word of sustainability. Economically sustainable, I mean, it's got to be there for a long time, whatever you do. But it has to be environmentally sustainable. It has to be green, it has to maximise the green space and centre, and it has to be sort of socially sustainable. I.e., you're not actually creating ghettos of rich or poor, but you're creating a community in the centre which works. Now, I'm sure I've parlous my thing on this. That's because I didn't go through all the detail of what I said at the committee, so I'll leave that. That's what you said. Touch back up as best you can. But those are the thoughts I would like to leave you with as a vision. We can perhaps talk about the political process, because that's also important. I seem to find myself here as a very representative of the political process, which actually is not a good place to be at the moment. But obviously you need to think about that, because the democracy in this country is one where you think you have democracy, which basically you have the balloon which comes down every 4 years, and you people scramble on the balloon and it goes up again, and that's your last year about your chance to change that system. But the stars are moving into conjunction where in May of this year you will have local elections, and it's new to, I think, question the candidates who are standing that election, both at mayoral level and at local level, to ask them what they're going to do for Central Lewisham. As you said, kindly, I actually won't be part of that particular process because I'm standing down, so I won't ask your vote. I'm sure others will do it on their own. But that's a unique opportunity for you as citizens to question the people who want to run this program.